Welcome again! Okay, I know it's been a while, but this channel is not dead, I promise. I'm still working on my game, and I can prove it. So let me show you everything I have been working on over the last month, and it's a lot to cover, so I can't even go into details there. So first, I implemented a new game mechanic, and I was inspired by some kind of random card system on another game I played, and I wanted something like that too. But I didn't feel like cards would fit the theme of my game, so instead I gave it this little Asian charm optics that go very well with the temple theme of the hot spring. I call this mechanic Blessings, and it circles back into the management skills that the servants are going to have. So as soon as you assign a servant to the management position, they will generate 2 random normal cards, blessings, and the cards that are specified by their management skills. And you can use them at any time. However, unused blessings vanish when the day is over, so you can't hoard them. And there are currently 2 types. One type I call Spring Blessings, which are the ones that you can use all the time. And then there are Service Blessings that you can only use during a customer interaction. And I even added these little animations like you're burning the blessing when using it, or when you click the blessing stack up here that it jiggles a little bit. Next big change, customers now have levels. I call it ranks from E to S, and indicated by this little letter down here. And higher level customers grant more rewards, but they are a bit harder to please, and the UI represents that with coloring the rank according to the service rank of the servant. And I also changed the UI to show how much gold you can expect from serving them. And the game also always generates customer levels based on the current renown level. So the farther you progress in the game, the higher the levels of the customers will be. But the game will also always generate a few low-level customers, so you can level up your low-rank servants as well. I overhauled the request system. So when you serve a customer, you get these little mini events with descriptive text. And before this update, I just had those simple checks for service rank, and that's basically it. But it was boring and didn't help with the idea that I want Save for Work requests too in the game. So what I did was adding 3 new stats to the game: knowledge, dexterity, and let's just call it attitude. And these stats level up automatically as you use them, and they are used for all kinds of request skill checks in the game, but they can also double for adventuring skill checks, etc. And as you can see, when you hover the request dice icon, it shows the roll. And that basically allows for characters to be a bit more nuanced in design. So for example, Rin is clumsy but smart, so she performs well on stuff that requires knowledge, like debating with a customer or performing some kind of ritual at the temple. And customers are separated by where they are, and you can make, for example, Rin preferably serve customers that are currently at the temple, because those skill checks will be more common there. Also, I used the time to overhaul the character UI in the process. It now has tabs to show all the important stuff, like the newly added stats. And there's also this little statistics window to show important gameplay data. You're not gonna learn about their blood types, you pervert. Oh look, we also have a main menu now, and it's fully functioning with a save load system. Currently, I implemented saving in the way that you only have one save game and the game auto-saves every action, like in a traditional roguelike game, where you can not reload or redo your choices, or re-roll a bad dice result. I think that fits the intended game style better than a traditional manual save system with different files, but just to go sure, I implemented the system in a way that I can easily switch it back to a manual system if I want to. The next one is a bit more under the hood, but important nonetheless. The game now writes the settings in a config file, so it actually remembers the resolution settings now. And while I was at it, I also added support for higher resolution UI scalings, because some testers on 4K screens have reported that the game font was very hard to read on large monitors. So yeah, that's fixed. And then I was essentially finished with the main game systems, and I tested it a lot and did the first balancing adjustments. After almost a year, the game has a fully functioning feature-complete first demo build. So I decided, for the first time ever, that I actually wanted to put some art in my game, and that's where the Odyssey started. I wanted to start with a background for my game first, so I hired an artist on VGen to make me a hand-drawn background, and he did, and it looked good, but when I put it into my game, I noticed that it didn't fit the UI style or the intended character design, like, at all. It was some kind of rough, painterly style background, and I thought it would fit, but it didn't. And just to clarify, no hate on this artist, he did a fantastic job and gave me exactly what I wanted. It was just that I wanted the wrong thing. So, a bit frustrated, I searched for some fresh ideas on the interwebs and collected 3D models and tried to build a scenery in 3D space, but I didn't like the 3D render look and wanted something drawn in 2D, something that looks more anime. So, in my last attempt, I picked up a pencil and drew something myself. So I did like a rough sketch of a bird's eye perspective of the hot spring in Quida, and that was where it clicked for me. So one day later, I prepared a few bare-bones silhouettes to put into 3D space to achieve like a parallax-like effect. And then I did more and more, and eventually I rebuilt my initial sketch as a full scenery in what I would say is more like a 2.5D perspective. And then I wanted to take this a step further and optimized it for big camera movements. So I added a little camera fly-down animation for the game menu and a little zoom in when you start the game. And then I was like, what if I also add a town to my scenery? So I did that, and then I didn't want to just have the scenery switch instantly, which would be boring, so I added some more objects on the travel way of the camera movement and achieved this wonderful little camera move effect. I'm pretty sure my future me will hate me for adding so many layers for me to draw by hand. But whatever, it took me a full year of development to get here, so I will definitely not cut corners now. So, in all honesty, I fully expect taking at least a month to draw all these elements, but that's what I wanted, so here we go. So yeah, that's all for today. If you're interested in testing the current build, feel free to hop on my Discord and have a chat. The current game build is available for downloading there, and yeah, toodles, and see you next time.